Hey everybody, Robert here from Black Belt Gaming, continuing my read-through of Adventures Dark and Deep. We are looking at the Fighter today. This is a class that I've played often over the years and always enjoy playing a good fighter. So Strength 9 is required, Constitution 7 is required. You can be any race and any alignment. You can use any weapon and use any armor or shield. So what are some of the abilities that a fighter may get in this first edition AD&D Expanded? Well, it's pretty much like we know. Exceptional strength, multiple attacks per round, and weapon specialization. I believe the weapon specialization may have come along in Unearthed Arcana first. I know it was a common thing in 2nd edition. But let's take a look here. I believe we just have the artwork here. 2,000 experience points to go from level 1 to level 2 and 4,000 to make level 3. So very standard advancement there. D10 per level, exceptional strength. Only fighters and their subclasses, and that's important. Subclasses of fighter gain exceptional strength as well. Remember, this means that if you have a strength score of 18, you can have a percentage of 18 and still get some additional bonuses to hit and with damage. So it just clarifies here, a thief may have a strength of 18, but they won't get the exceptional strength advantages, but a fighter can. So just as a point of review, we see here an 18 strength for all the other classes is going to gain you a +1 to hit and +2 damage. But a fighter with exceptional strength is going to start to get a more damage output with a +3. And if they start to get over 50%, they're going to start to get a +2 to hit, +3 damage, +2 to hit, +4 damage. If they're up in the 1890 to 91 to 99, +2, +5, and if you happen to be that very lucky fighter that gets the 18 100%, you get +3 and +6, which is just fantastic. So continuing on, we have the multiple attacks per round. Fighters are able to get more than the standard 1 attack per round when in melee. When facing opponents, and again, this is kind of pulling from the very first edition AD&D Player's Handbook, it's with the really low hit dice creatures. So a D4 or a D6 for hit dice. You can check the Adventures Dark and Deep Bestiary for more information on monster hit dice. The fighter gets a number of attacks equal to his level. So if you have a 3rd level fighter fighting against a few kobolds, they're going to get 3 attacks per round when fighting such creatures. Now, I think when we get into the other multiple attacks later, there might be a bit of a difference here. I don't think it's going to stack, but we'll see. Note that this also applies to 3rd level fighter attacking a 1st level magic user. Again, you're going to get 3 attacks per round, but any creature that has a D8 or better hit dice, it doesn't apply. And when that creature, let's say that magic user becomes 2nd level and is now 2d4 for hit points, it's not going to apply to that creature any longer. So it's really kind of wiping out the low-level minions that the fighter can really shine with this particular ability. Now, in addition to this, fighters also gain a number of attacks per round based on their level. So 1 to 6, so for a good chunk of their career, they're going to get 1 attack per round. Once they reach level 7 and go all the way to 12, which is a long stretch, 3 attacks per 2 rounds. And perhaps in the combat section, or it could be here, it might clarify how this will work. At level 13 or higher, they actually get 2 attacks per round. So if you have both multiple attacks per round and weapon specialization apply, the option that yields the most attacks per round should be used. So we're going to be coming up on that weapon specialization. So it looks like as we're coming up on the specialization, we have a table here. Maybe let's come back to it and let's read a little bit about weapon specialization first. When a character advances in experience where a new weapon proficiency would be learned, so this is another thing, you didn't start out knowing all the weapons of that class. You could use any weapon, but you actually needed to be trained in particular weapons so that you don't have any penalty. Now, a fighter that picks up a somewhat unfamiliar weapon is going to have less of a penalty than another class, and maybe we can look at that. But when you're specializing, I think what you're doing is you're taking an opportunity to learn a different weapon and kind of doubling up on a weapon that you already know. So you can choose to specialize in a weapon instead of learning a new one. And this cannot be done at first level. A character can only specialize in a weapon as he advances, and doing so uses an additional weapon proficiencies. So interesting that you cannot do this at first level. I could be wrong, but I thought in second edition I thought you could, but I'm not sure about that. Didn't play as much second edition as I did first. A character can only specialize in the same weapon once. So if it is a melee weapon or thrown missile weapon, a character will get a +1 bonus to hit and +1 damage, in addition to any other bonuses the characters might have due to strength, magic, etc. The weapon chosen must be as specific as possible. You can't just simply say swords or polearms. You have to, specify long sword or halberd to be exact. Now, you can choose a bow, short bow, long bow, etc. The character can count any target that is 6 feet to 30 feet away as being point blank. And point blank range, you're going to get a +2 to hit and damage. And our further hit for double damage. Double damage. Thus, an arrow could do 6 to 16 hit points of damage when fired, irrespective of any magical bonuses. In addition, at short range, which begins at 30 feet for the fighter specialized in the bow, the bowman gets a +2 to hit, +1 to hit and damage bonuses. So I sort of need to read that again for myself. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about this in the combat section. So don't let me bore you by me rereading things over and over again. But it just looks like, in general, you're going to be able to hit better and definitely do some more damage when you specialize in the bow. There's also crossbow as an option here. The character treats any target between 6 as 60, being within point blank. Maybe the point blank for most people is like 30 feet, 6. No, that can't be right. Point blank must be closer than that. I'll have to check the combat section and see. Targets in point blank range are hit with +1 to hit and damage, and further do double damage. So a light crossbow bolt could do 6 to 12 hit points of damage, plus any magical bonuses. And at short range, the crossbowman gets +1 to hit and damage bonuses. At medium range, the bonus is +1 to hit. Characters in melee cannot use missile weapons. Okay, that's a good one to remember. Characters in melee cannot use missile weapons. So here we have the additional information on specialized weapons and attacks per round. So we've got a number of weapon types listed across here. At levels 1 to 6, if it's a melee weapon and you're specialized in it, you already get to attack 3 times every 2 rounds. If it is a bow of any kind, you get 2 attacks per round. If it is a light crossbow, 1 attack per 1 round. If it is a heavy crossbow, 1 attack per 2 rounds. I would have to check the rate of fire, but that seems pretty standard to me. The lasso, staff sling, 1 attack per round. Daggers, 3 attacks per round. Darts, 4. I think these are the standard rates, aren't they? Or were darts three per round? I'm not sure if there's a bonus kicking in, but definitely with the melee weapon there is 3 attacks every 2 rounds. Once you get to 7th level and above, 2 attacks per round with a melee weapon, 3 with a bow, 3 attacks every 2 rounds with a light crossbow, 1 attack per round with a heavy crossbow. And you can throw up to 4 daggers and 5 darts. And at level 13 and above, for the rest of the character's career, 5 attacks every 2 rounds with a melee weapon. Bow is 4 attacks per round. Light crossbows 2 for 1 round. Heavy crossbows 3 attacks for every 2 rounds. Daggers you can throw 5, and darts you can throw 6. And that really is it. It's not too complicated. You've got your armor access and weapon access, your ability to gain some extra attacks against those minion types, some extra attacks against anybody, and you can even boost your 2-hit and damage and attacks per round if you choose to specialize in certain weapons. So we're going to take a look next at some of the subclasses of fighter. They will also gain access to the exceptional strength. So let's get into some of those next.